Hi guys, welcome back. ENV101 Environmental Science Week 6. It is August 26th today. I can't get my THs out. August 26th today. And we're past midterm. We're on the downhill slide of the class. We have two chapters I want you to take on. Chapters 10 and chapters 11. And I got to tell you, this is truly an August day out there. It is very, very, very warm and humid here in St. Louis. We are under a heat advisory. It's like 106 heat index, something like that. Which brings us to our two chapters that I want you to read. Chapter 10, Food Production and the Environment. More importantly, chapter 11, which is Water Resources and Water Pollution, because boy, would today be a great day to hit the water park. Cool off a little bit there, but you have two chapters to read. Now let's make sure we hit the food production and the environment, and then water pollution. Those are very awesome. Also, you have this week a couple of things. It's a busy week for you guys, so let's jump in there early and get into the discussion. The reason it's busy is you have part 2 of your project due by Saturday night, and we'll talk about that in a second. First, I want you to hit the discussion, which is, what do you think is the #1 waste or pollution problem faced by the United States? And what are some of the things that could be done to address that concern? What are we wasting? What are we polluting? And what can we do to address it? So that's a good question. In the United States, is it our carbon footprint? Is it our water resources? Is it just our initial waste? You know, I just noticed this the other day. Actually, I noticed it a couple of years ago, but I actually drove by it, like right next to it the other day. And it's been a growing, no pun intended, it's been a growing concern of mine just in where I live. Now, I have to digress a little bit and explain to you real quick where I live. I live outside of St. Louis on the Illinois side. And if you're standing in downtown St. Louis and you start going east, you have the Mississippi River, followed by East St. Louis, followed by Belleville, which is where I'm at. Half dozen small little towns in between. In between St. Louis and Belleville, they started a landfill, which there are many of them around this area, but this landfill has been growing over the last several years, and it has literally taken away the beautiful views that we have of St. Louis. Now we see this big green mound between St. Louis and our house. Now, my house, I never had the view, so it's not really that big, but there's certain areas that you can drive where you used to have beautiful scenic views of downtown St. Louis, of the arch and of the bridges and of the downtown, the stadium and everything else. But now you can't see any of that because this big mound has grown, and it's a landfill, and it will continue to grow a little bit more before it finally reaches the top. But the damage is done. I can no longer see downtown on certain spots that I used to be able to see downtown from. That's a shame, because it wasted a very, very beautiful view of the city. I guess that's how things work. I don't know. But that's one of my complaints, and we'll kick some stuff around in the discussion. But you have discussion to work on. You've got your project part 2. Let's talk about that. That is due this week. And it is very, very similar to the first one that we did. Part 2 of the assignment is out of 3 of your final project. Part 2 is to resource 3 articles. I know it says 5 right now, but I'll change that in a minute. But I want you to resource 3 articles on environmental change and what the future holds. Environmental change and what the future holds. You're going to write a bibliography like you did for the first project. And each of the articles will be full APA formatted, and I'm looking for cites. There are examples that I have in here, links to some examples. There is some links to some resources, including our own virtual library at ANU. Make sure that you use them as well. They can help you write these bibliographies. Each one should be 275 to 300 words each, which is just a good, strong, solid paragraph. I'm not looking for a whole page, but you have to do 3 articles. citing each one of those articles of what the future holds in environmental change. So let's get on that. That's going to be a big one. You're going to upload that file. It's worth 100 points. And that goes towards your final project, which we'll be doing week 9. So week 3, you had the first one where you did 3 articles on environmental changes that has occurred in the past. Now you're writing 3 that what will happen in the future. You can skip ahead if you want and take a look at chapter 9 and see what the final project is about, because you could start working on that now, because it's going to be a paper based on the 6 articles that you've resourced. Okay, so I'm hoping that you're keeping up with these assignments. So you've got that going on, and then you also have a quiz that is due. The quiz is due by Saturday night, as well as your part 2 of your project, as well as your discussions. Those are also due. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to give me a call, text me, write me, whatever you need to do. I think that's pretty much everything we have for the week. You got your readings, you read your PowerPoints as well. Make sure you read your chapters. You got your discussion, your part 2 of your project, and your quiz. That's what we've got this week, guys. So let's jump on it. Jump in there early, jump in there often in the discussions, and I will see you in class. Call, text, write if you have anything. All right.